Hello, my love. I hope that this finds you well. Good morning to you. I hope you are rested. I hope you are awake. I hope that you had fantastical dreams last night. I hope that you are physically touched by someone, or that you physically touch someone else. I remember how important physical touch was to me, and whether a hand on a shoulder or on someone's back or even a handshake, an earnest one at that. I recall when I would go to visit M's aunt, and she was very old, and I remember thinking how she must not get touched much because she was living by herself, and how important it was when I saw her to make sure I had a hand on her thigh and rubbed her arm or held her hand even. So I hope that you have that in your life. I hope that there is physical touch, caring and connection for you. But aside from all that, I wish you a good morning, and I hope that you are well. I was thinking about profit, and I have very muddled thoughts on it, even now, and even more then, probably less now. But if one's desire is to go out and make a profit, there is embedded in that, for me, and how I define profit. I'm quite sure there are economical terms and explanations for these various things that are only muddled in my mind, but I was always weary of the idea of making a profit because it felt to me that it was inequitable. If I'm making a profit, it means that I am obtaining value over someone else somehow. And when there is an exchange of goods or services, if it turns out at the end of the day or the year, whatever measurement you're using, that I have increased my profit and the person with whom I am working has not, or I should say with whom I am exchanging something, has not likewise increased their level of profit, then the exchange was inequitable. This is most visually seen, or example is just in the depreciation of goods, that when one buys a good on the market, you exchange dollar values for the good, and the good depreciates as soon as it leaves the store. That's not to say we shouldn't sell and exchange goods. There is a purpose for that, and an enjoyment too at times. But if my goal is simply profit, it left a bad taste in my mouth, because it felt to me that that meant I was not exchanging an equal value. And there's a question of whether one should try to exchange things of equal value or should actually try and obtain an advantage on one side. Obviously, I shied away from that. I think that because it is not inequitable, as I have defined it, and under the circumstances that I am talking about it, because profit is not equitable, it is not an even exchange, I would approach it cautiously, and I would also recommend that you consider giving back to the extent you become profitable or gain a lot of profit, because it ultimately creates an imbalance. if you're not giving back somehow. And so that was something I wrestled with, something I did not always do either, and wish I had done more of. But I learned, thankfully, over time, to rectify that perceived imbalance, or the imbalance that I felt was there. So I leave that for you to muddle about in. It's muddled enough, I think, just as I have presented it. But food for thought. I will recommend again the music of Dustin O'Halloran and The Art of Fiction by Gardner. And with that, I will bid you adieu.